Right, top of the morning, top of the evening, top of the night, whatever time zone you are on, we are live. Hello, everybody. A moment of silence for all those who have lost their lives. Let's remember this. If we can look up, we can get up. If we can get up, we can go up. Break the volume down. All right, with that being said, you see the title. Hopefully everybody's been doing the best that they can in a situation that they are in. We're going to get off into this. We're going to talk about white haughtiness and arrogance in the United States of America, the psychology, the sociology, the physiology, the economics. Who polices the United States of America? Not just who polices the police, but who polices the system in the United States of America? The philosophy of the USA. With that being said, disclaimer, gonna get graphic tonight. Let me be very blunt and clear. This is not for kids. Again, disclaimer, this is not for children. Parental consent is necessary. With that being said, let's go ahead and get started again. Hello, everybody. And remember this, if we can look up, we can get up. If we can get up, we can go up. We stay actively engaged. All right. That's that. Let's go ahead, cue this music up. We are going to get off into this. Hello, people in the bushes. Let's go.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nub. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry armed women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom, the tiger in your tank or the giant in your toilet bowl. The revolution will not go better with coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
So that's what we on today. The revolution will be live. Now, having said that, again, disclaimer. Let me break this volume down. Graphic content, parental consent. It's necessary. Right here. So let's get off into it. I just want to show a little bit of, and I'm going to be on here for some time tonight. I just want to show a little bit of something that a clinical psychologist said. And he's no stranger to many, and an introduction to some. And some people may like him, and some people may care for his personality, and some people may not. I personally don't care who doesn't like him, who cares for his personality. I don't care about all of the gossip surrounding whatever. But tonight, as I start, many will remember okay, right here. Oftentimes, America wants you to think, yeah, Dr. Omar Johnson, America wants you to think that, and this is him and Roland Martin from years back. A lot of people want you to have a preconceived notion about others. They like to come out and paint their narrative, and assassinate African-American people, Black people character. That's not new to the United States. That's true to the United States. That's nothing new. We know that. And a lot of times they like to create stories, pure allegory. That's not new. And many times you get African-American people running with the stories and the allegories. That's not new. But I want to go to something that he said that was true. And that was factual. And I was happy that an African-American male, not saying others didn't, but someone in the field of psychology spoke up, especially pertaining to the Kiah incident. So, and he was on the Breakfast Club a few days ago, and I'm not going to play all of that interview. Quite naturally, I do not own the rights to this video footage. I am getting ready to show. Breakfast Club owns this. but they don't own his words or so I'm gonna just curate. No, I want to get past all of this because I can care less what the rest of them up there saying. And I just said that I can care less what everybody else on the Breakfast Club is up there saying. Okay, let's go to this. I'm going to get to question and answer. And I'm trying to get right to where he's talking. Specifically, the police murdering a female. This should not even be a conversation or anything to pontificate about amongst U.S. communities, and especially not amongst the African American community. We shouldn't be pontificating about whether the police was justified in killing her. And yes, I'm going there tonight. Okay. Okay. Right here. Okay, we'll just start right here. Let's jump into this. Take a share on this. Yes. Okay, there we go. A little delay. Just a little delay. Here we go. Let's do the share on this. Again, I do not own the rights to this video footage that I am showing. This is Breakfast Club. They own the rights to their content, copyrights, and the like.
The Democrats are a waste of time. If the Congressional Black Caucus can't make Joe Biden do anything for black people, then they need to dissolve themselves. We don't even need them anymore. They're useless.
Do you believe there's any policy or legislation that will stop police executions of black people? Like, you think, like, if they implement the George Floyd Policing Act, will it stop the executions of black people?
That act. But my suspicions are it doesn't really have any teeth in it, because when I look at the act that Nancy Pelosi introduced, the police reform bill, right around the time that the George Floyd riots kicked off, it didn't have no teeth in it. First and foremost, the unjustified murder of a black person by a police officer should automatically be charged as a hate crime. Number one, it is a hate crime. These police killing us are committing hate crimes, and nobody is treating them like hate crimes. So the first change in the legislation is that it all has to be treated as a hate crime. Second change in the legislation is the payouts. The civil suit payouts come from the police officer's pension, and it comes from the police union, and it comes from the fraternal order of the police. Make them pay, because you can't tell me that you're going to make black taxpayers pay.
They do it all the time.
You understand? For the criminal behavior of police. How am I getting a victory if I'm the one who has to pay for his mistakes? Make the police pay and charge every murder as a hate crime, and I guarantee you they'll think twice before they start killing black folks.
In the George Floyd Policing Act, that's what they want to do. They want to get rid of qualified immunity. Because if you get rid of qualified immunity, then that's exactly what will happen.
Exactly. You need to get rid of qualified immunity and stop making police think that their lives are more important than black folks. Look at the situation with the sister who got shot the 5 times.
Now let's talk about that. KhiaBryant in Ohio.
KhiaBryant.
Yeah.
They're claiming, and she the one who called the police. They're claiming that the police had a right to shoot her. Even coons, Negroes are running around saying, well, she had a knife. So that justifies her being killed? Because I work in school, Charlemagne. I have seen lunchroom aides with no police training, no bulletproof vests, no night-proof vest, no gun in their pocket. I have seen elderly black women and elderly black men take knives and other weapons out of the hands of students during lunchroom riots. So you mean to tell me that a 60, 70-year-old man can disarm a teenager in a lunchroom, but a trained armed police with a bulletproof vest can't get a knife out of the hand of a 16-year-old, but yet and still you have white males who are conducting mass murders all across this country. Almost every other week, we're getting a mass murder in America, and almost every one of these fully armed, fully violent, murderous white men were apprehended by the police without being shot and without losing their life. So explain to me how a white man with an AK-47 can be taken without a police officer firing a bullet after he done murdered 6, 7, 8 people, but a 16-year-old girl with a butter knife cannot be apprehended without a bullet being shot. That is nonsense. They killed her because they knew they would get away with it.
And that's just the fact. Who polices the United States of America, the entire system, not just who polices the police, but who polices the system? Well, the system was created by white males. So let's call it what it is. Conceited white males. Not only conceited white males, the system was created by people who thought it was befitting to sell African-American people. Exploit their labors, beat them, kill them, so on and so forth. You know the history of the United States of America. Not history, but history. And the reason why the police in the United States of America has continuously killed African-American people, as well as other American citizens, is because they know they can get away with it. Especially African-American people. So they can get away with it. Immunity. And that was diabolical from the start. Very vile. Now, I am happy someone with a clinical psychology degree, that's a male, that's African-American from the United States of America, finally said what needed to be said, because I have seen a bunch of Black people, misinformed, uneducated, out here justifying the murder of a minor, justifying the murder of a minor by the hands of a cop. I don't give a rat's rump if it was another grown adult. It is something psychologically, as I've been mentioning for years, wrong with the United States ideology, philosophies, psychology, way of thinking, way of living, and everything else. So you mean to tell me that you sat there and you watched the first grown adult get pushed by the teenager, and you could not take her down then on some hand-to-hand combat? And then he was what, in a military or whatever, Air Force? They teach hand-on-hand combat, hand-to-hand combat. If you're gonna be in the United States military or a part of the United States military or any facet of that, you're gonna learn some hand-to-hand combat. So I wanted to get to that part. It's going to be fired up today. So the people watching from the bushes, when you watch this back, yeah, it's going to be fire tonight. This is a long pop up tonight. And YouTube, let me tell you something too while I'm right here. It seems to me that you have selective sending of notifications out to people. But that's okay, because as I mentioned previously, I'm going to deal with that too. And I keep my word. My word is my bond. We're going to deal with that too. But it's going to be a long-term solution. It's going to be an effective resolve. Having said that, let me move on to the other bit. He said it again. Parental consent is necessary. Graphic content. Why is all these videos showing up watched in my feed and I didn't watch half of what's showing up? Why is this mess showing up in my video history? So for the people watching this, apologies right here during this section. I got some foolishness showing up and my watch history and that I didn't watch at all. Yeah, this is interesting. Okay. Okay, right here. Hey Perry, how you doing? I go to this section right here. Okay, let me back it up some to the point. And these are just some videos that I'm throwing in tonight. We haven't even gotten to where I'm going tonight. And I'm not just going to say throwing in as throwing in, but throwing in for people to think, not just randomly choosing videos to show tonight, but videos for people to sit back, listen, and think. Think about the psychology and philosophy and the ideologies of the United States of America. Okay. So I'll start about right here. I won't show all of this in its entirety because I am not the owner of this video footage either.
Deliver information and updates, relevant information and updates. I don't use my platforms to talk about other people. I don't use my platforms to tear down other people. I don't use my platforms to talk about what's going on in the NFL and in the NBA. I might drop a meme once in a while, but if you go through my page, my page.
Perry.
It's all information, relevant information, not gossip and slander and sensationalism. How the hell we got time to waste so much energy on gossip, slander, and sensationalism, and we ain't got no damn institutions?
Let me pause and pull that back, because during the first 10 minutes, he's talking to the African American community. He's talking to the African American community right here, period.
Whenever I come on social network, it's to give you a message. And I'm the most popular and most powerful personality in the Black conscious movement. I'm the most popular and the most powerful personality in the Black conscious movement. And I'm not on social network every day. I don't even have a YouTube page. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have none of that shit. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And I only come on to deliver information and updates, relevant information and updates. I don't use my platforms to talk about other people. I don't use my platforms to tear down other people. I don't use my platforms to talk about what's going on in the NFL and in the NBA. I might drop a meme once in a while, but if you go through my page, It's all information, relevant information, not gossip and slander and sensationalism. How the hell we got time to waste so much energy on gossip, slander, and sensationalism, and we ain't got no damn institutions? We ain't got no damn institutions. Black adults, we need to be ashamed of ourselves for what we letting our children do to each other. Black adults, we need to be ashamed of ourselves for what we letting our children do to one another. It is absolutely unacceptable. You damn right I tore down Candace Owens, because Candace Owens is a goddamn coon. And I'm going to block your ass for even saying
Viewers'
that.
discretion is advised.
I'm going to block you for even saying that. Because if you defending her, you a coon. You damn right Candace Owens is a coon. I said it. Candace Owens is a goddamn coon, and she knows she ain't making no sense up there defending those police. How you gonna spit on George Floyd's grave like that, Candace Owens? How you gonna spit on George Floyd's grave like that, Candace Owens? How you gonna spit on George Floyd's grave like that, Candace Owens? How you gonna spit on Ma'Khia's grave like that? Talking about that little 16-year-old girl who got shot 4 times by that police officer. Candace Owens up there talking reckless about assassinated blacks. Candace Owens up there talking reckless about assassinated blacks. She ain't nothing but a damn coon. A damn pickaninny. That's what she is. A political pickaninny on the white plantation. Candace Owens ain't nothing but a political pickaninny. A goddamn pickaninny on the white man's plantation. And you black celebrities, y'all a bunch of damn jokes too. I'm talking to all y'all. I'm talking to every rapper, every actor, every singer.
Now, this is the portion of the video that I have this up here for. Now, he's going to speak power to the truth. And his perspective of Candace Owens is his perspective of Candace Owens. You know I don't rock with that one. And that name, I don't say over here. I'm careless. Don't watch her stuff. None of that. Don't have time for theatrics, drama, and people. Let me close it. Let me go back into the video. I'm going to leave that alone because I got somewhere else to go. I got somewhere else to go tonight.
Every dancer, every athlete, y'all a bunch of damn coons. Y'all not doing nothing at all. All y'all got is Twitter fingers. I don't want to see another LeBron James tweet. LeBron James, what are you doing in these streets? I don't want to see another LeBron James tweet. Tweeting is not activism.
It's not.
Tweeting is not activism.
It's not.
Tweeting is not activism. Making a comment at a press conference is not activism. Activism is action. Activism is action. Activism and action start with the first 4 letters because there is no activism without action. Stop telling me what somebody said. Stop telling me what somebody posted. Stop telling me what somebody tweeted. These are multi-millionaires. These are I'm not knocking LeBron. I respect LeBron. He's not a coon. But LeBron James could do a lot more than tweeting
They
some
all
bullshit.
could.
We got to get serious, brothers and sisters. Support FDMG. We trying to get the school ready.
Now,
The
and
weather
I'll stop it
changing.
right there. Because what he's talking about is, like he said, when, and I passed that part. Okay, as African American people, whether you are athlete, artist, singer, musician, or whether you are teacher, homemaker, whatever, is that we as a people have to stay actively engaged. We have to stay actively engaged. And I have that over here all the time. Stay engaged. Now, again, Owens, everybody know I'm not going down that road, because whatever. I don't play that mess over here. You don't get no play over here. Period. We as a people have to stay actively engaged. And we as a community, those of us who care, when he said at the beginning, and I didn't play that portion, adults, what have we been doing? Well, unfortunately, adults out here trying to act like teenagers or trying to fit in or jive with the younger generation. And it's all right to stay relevant with the current times. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in character and behavior, because if a teenager who's you are an elder to or older than come to you for some advice and they need some help and they need a place of refuge, they don't need you thinking like them. You're supposed to have a little bit more wisdom than they do. They should leave your presence feeling like they got some koinonia, revelation knowledge. Oh, he said that. And again, my side note video starting off was because I said, thank you, African American male. An African American man with some sense has finally, not saying others did not speak against, because there's been other Black African American men out there saying no, 15-year-olds should not have been shot by the cops and killed. And then you get people trying to deflect. It's black on black crime, and y'all don't say that. It's black on black crime, and y'all don't say that. It's black on black crime, and y'all don't say nothing. Hold on. When police murder people in the United States of America, especially African American people, they have the whole system backing them. So who polices the United States of America? When police murder people, especially African American people, they got the system backing them. They have the approval by the system, and the system isn't going to do anything to them. And a form of justice can't bring the person back. Accountability. If you want to sit in the seat in the office of responsibility, well, then you will be held accountable for your actions. And it's past time. We days late and dollars short when it comes to accountability for the policing over here in the United States, as well as our judicial systems here in the United States. It's past time. And so, no, in the African American community, and as U.S. citizens, period, we cannot afford to be playing a game when kids need help, when young adults need help, when the teens need help. They need some good, solid advice, not foolishness. No, he told the truth on that. Now, again, people have their own channels, they grown, own platforms. Okay, it's their right. They're free will person. They can use their free will to sit up, gossip, tear people down all day. But that is not helping our African American community. And those people need to know the same stuff you sow, you will reap. It's a law of sowing and reaping. People call it karma, but no. Science is provable, just like math is solvable. It's the law of sowing and reaping. What goes up must come down. What you sow, you will reap. So they will reap what they're sowing in abundance, to the full, to it overflows. But we as African American people, and we as people, period, should not be condoning cops killing other African American youth, African American people, without justifiable reason. And I do mean it better be a justifiable reason. That means they better be shooting at the cop. And not shooting at the cop for self-defense, just shooting at the cop randomly for no reason. Because everybody know over here by now, you should know over here, I believe in self-defense. Do unto others as you would them do unto you. Period. Now let's get off into this. No nonsense news. We stay actively engaged. Graphic content, parental consent, viewers' discretion is advised. Right. Everybody needed help. I don't understand, Perry, why grown folks went over to that house to fight a child, a minor. That's what I don't understand. I don't understand why the foster mother allowed them to argue in times of past. Why would you have some former foster kids arguing with some minors that you have guardianship over? Why would you perpetuate that foolishness? Nobody gets off the hook. Not the foster mother, not the system, the state that placed them there. Not the state that placed them there. Not the state that collect money for them. Not the foster mother that collect money for them. No, nobody gets a pass. Not the officer. Nobody gets a pass. Not the U.S. system. Nobody gets a pass. And if you were listening to Dr. Omar Johnson, like he said, he don't want to hear about the parents when we're supposed to be a community of African American people who should have done better. Who could be actively engaged. What he's saying is stop all the deflecting and excuses as to why we didn't help as a community, holistically overall. Like no need to deflect. Because we could say, well, why was she there? And people want to know, well, why was she in the foster home? Excuse me, because the United States government thought it was okay to continuously destroy the African American family over here in America. They came up with that law of stripping African American kids out of their homes under the auspices of, we're going to do a better job. It's for their own safety. Don't play with me on this live tonight. Don't play with me tonight. I don't play nan night I'm up here. But tonight, definitely. Don't play with me tonight because I can go there on a side note. And that'll take a whole couple of hours. That'll take another whole couple of hours. But it is something wrong with the psychology, philosophy, and ideology of the United States of America. And this is not new. It's true to America. It's not new. It's true. It's like a never-ending cycle. Come on, Malcolm, speak. We need to hear no more. It's truth to power. Power to the truth.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough, and it is because of our effort toward getting straight to the root that people oftentimes think we're dealing in hate. We are oppressed. We are exploited. We are downtrodden. We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights. So the only way we're going to get some of this oppression and exploitation away from us or aside from us is come together against the common enemy.
The system. And the ones who control them.
Who taught you to hate the texture of your hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin to such extent that you bleach to get like the white man? Who taught you to hate the shape of your nose and the shape of your lips? Who taught you to hate yourself from the top of your head to the soles of your feet? Who taught you to hate your own kind? Who taught you to hate the race that you belong to? So much so that you don't want to be around each other. No, before you come asking Mr. Muhammad, does he teach hate, you should ask yourself, who taught you to hate being what God gave you? And I, for one, as a Muslim, believe that the white man is intelligent enough. If he were made to realize how black people really feel and how fed up we are without that old compromise and sweet talk. Stop sweet talking him. Tell him how you feel. Tell him what kind of hell you've been catching, and let him know that if he's not ready to clean his house up, if he's not ready to clean his house up, he shouldn't have a house. It should catch on fire and burn down.
And remember, when he said that, they were bombing African-American homes. They were burning down churches. They were blowing up kids. They were shooting. Same thing they doing today. Cops still shooting African-American people. Getting away with it. Killing African-American people, getting away with it. Killing U.S. citizens, getting away with it. Of a diversity of ethnic groups getting away with it, but a little leaven's the whole lump. What you allow to be done to one ethnic group will eventually seep over into the others, and it'll be done to them too. See, United States should have got a handle on this a long time ago. This is long overdue. Like I said, days late, dollars short. The urgency of now passed us a long time ago. All right. Now, I'm going to run some facts and statistics quite naturally. I'm going to go to second paragraph. Research at the Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. analyzed national data from death certificates compiled by the National Center of Health Statistics, including cause of death and race and ethnicity. They all They identified all adolescents between the ages of 12 and 17. So, specifically targeted 12 years of age to 17 who died specifically from firearm injuries due to police intervention between the years of 2003 and 2018. And compare rates of these deaths across racial and ethnic groups based on USA Census Bureau data. Now let's get here. Fourth paragraph. During the 16-year study period, 140 children died from police intervention. And of those, 113 involved firearms. About 93% of the children killed were boys with an average age of 16. The research found that Black children were 6 times more likely to be shot to death by police than white children. Hispanic children's risk of death was almost 3 times higher than that of white children. We're not going to play these games. We already know in the United States, because it's been allowed, it's been condoned, it's their psychology, it's their philosophy, it's their ideology, that the murdering and the genocide of African American people for years have gotten a pass. You even have other African American people justifying such foolishness. And like I said, if a police is going to murder anyone, they have better be in fear for their life for real. And that person had better been shooting at them. Or attempting to kill them. But again, history shows that police have selective shooting habits. They shoot and kill as they see fit. So who polices the United States of America? Let the record show. And while I'm letting the record show, I'm gonna let the video show. It's a flashback. This right here, the first video I'm showing, is from 2017.
Jerry, do what they say. Jerry, do what they say. Jerry, do what they say. Jerry. 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 You're gonna get hurt, Jerry, if you don't stop. Help!
And disclaimer, Jerry, you're supposed to be mental health issues. But this is the way they're dealing with Jerry.
Jerry, stop it.
Who has mental health issues. Because when they deal with Black people that have some mental health issues, unfortunately, they end up dead or shot. 2017. Play the clip. Let the record show.
Jerry, you're gonna get in trouble. Jerry, they're gonna hurt you. Jerry. Jerry, don't do it. Jerry, don't do it.
Hi, P Legal. And Jerry ended up taking the police officer SUV. Jerry was fighting with the cops. Jerry didn't get shot. That was 2017. Now let's go to 2020 and let the record show again, who polices the United States of America? Not only who polices the police, who polices the United States of America? The judicial system, governmental systems, and the other systems over here that be. Let the record show go 2020, last year, the record show.
The thing of it is, you're still not in trouble, but obviously I can't trust you not to run.
And this is a suspect.
All right, so come on. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay? Hey! You shot me, he's got a knife!
Let me pause for a minute. I'm gonna pull that back from the beginning. This is a suspect. He's wanted for something. He just stabbed the police and took off running. Let me play it back. Let me roll it back. Let me roll it back from the beginning because this is 2020 last year. Let the record show. For all you misinformed, misguided, psychological infidels in terms of justifying teens, African-American teens, and just youth being murdered by the police. Specifically, Kiah, the 16-year-old that was shot 4 times, for any ethnic group that chose to open up their mouths and justify that. Let the record show.
The thing of it is, you're still not in trouble, but obviously I can't trust you not to run anywhere. All right, so come on. I'm gonna put you in handcuffs for now, okay?
You got an open shot.
You shot me,
You had an open shot. You did it.
Hey, stop! Stop it! Stop right now! I got him at gunpoint. Stop right now! Stop! Nick!
Pause for a minute. He switched from the gun to the taser. Nick stabbed him and ran. He had an open shot. He could have shot Nick at close range. Did he shoot Nick last year in 2020? I'm going to pull it back and I'm going to let the record show again for the ones who may not be in the bushes, the ones who like to just breeze by as soon as they see I'm live and do a thumbs down, but may be a little curious and may want to watch anyway. I'm going to pull it back and let the record show for you again. And with your seeing eyes and hearing ears, watch this. 2020, Nick.
The thing of it is, you're still not in trouble, but obviously I can't trust you not to run anywhere. All right, so come on. I'm gonna put you in handcuffs for now, okay?
Great stab. You could have shot him right there.
You shot me, he's got a knife! Hey, stop it! Stop right now! I got him at gunpoint. Stop right now! Stop! Nick!
Taser. There it is, a real taser. Still didn't shoot me with the gun. Tased him.
Stop! Stop right now! Put it down! Drop the knife! Throw it to the side!
Yeah, you okay?
I don't know.
What happened?
You reach around and stab me.
All that running after Nick. Nick, stop it! He just stabbed you. Your life was in imminent danger. Yeah? directly assaulted the police officer in the United States of America. This was last year, 2020. He ran after Nick with a gun in his hand. Went from the gun in his hand to the taser. Still didn't shoot Nick. So again, for you psychological infidels and you psychological infants, let the record show. Selective shooting habits and negotiating skills in the United States of America from police departments. The system, in the US system. Nick stabbed, assaulted the officer and ran. Officer running at him, and it could have shot him a couple of times, several times. I'm seeing open shots. He didn't shoot Nick. He tased Nick. Nick was running. He tased Nick. So, for people pontificating about whether or not Kiah could have got tased, she could have. The officer chose not to. Why would he? He knew he can get away with murder. Why should he care? The system got his back.
The thing of it is, you're still not in trouble.
You a suspect and he's still not in
I
trouble?
can't trust you not to run anywhere.
Pause.
All right, so come on.
I can't take no more. That's foolishness. All right. So, the rate at which Black Americans are killed by the police is more than twice as high as the rate for white Americans. Really, is more than that. This is data from 2020. Black people per Black 36 per million, Hispanic 27 per million. Total killed 1,057. U.S. population, and this is from this year, 2021. They have the U.S. population at, that's really low for the U.S. population. But we did have some people die from COVID, but goodness, I don't think we dwindled down to that, but maybe we did. White people per million, the amount killed, 2,886. And people will say, well, white people are killed at larger numbers. No. Twice as much, because over here in the United States of America, the African American population makes up less than 13% of the nation. So you got less than 13% of ethnic group African Americans getting murdered by the police. You have to run the real numbers. Run the real data. Crunch the numbers. 13% of the population or less get stopped more than any other ethnic group, get killed at higher rates, shot by the police more than any other ethnic group, and it's only roughly 13% of the US population. That is a problem. It's a hate crime. That is bias. That is racism. That has been perpetuated throughout the years since slavery. Okay. I want to get to Andrew. Let's go to Andrew Brown. He was electrocuted. Period. Right, P Legal. They do need to be held accountable. If you have a manual on how to deal with white people versus other ethnic groups, they need to be held accountable. And unfortunately, when we talk about forms of justice, again, like I said, a form of justice is family members receiving some type of recompense for wrongful death of their family members, but you cannot bring that person back. And so oftentimes people need to understand, if there is no accountability for the actions or crimes committed, there's no real justice. We don't just want the family to get their recompense, and rightly so. They deserve that. We want the police and everybody else held accountable. I don't care if it was a prosecutor participating. I don't care who it was. I don't care if it was a judge participating. United States, excuse me again, age-old question. Who were these laws created for? The lawful or the lawless? Who were they created to protect? The lawless or the lawful? And this is Andrew Brown, who was electrocuted, basically. Shot him dead in the head. And I want to know how many bullets was in that car that he was in.
Yeah, Shep, the Brown family is calling this a partial victory. They'll be able to see the video in 10 days. As for the public, they'll have to wait longer. The judge saying that he will revisit this matter when the...
It don't take 10 days to run no data, no video footage. It does not take 10 days to run no video footage. They already been waiting. This is a cover-up. That's why I got cover-up at the beginning.
Investigation is complete in about 30 to 45 days. But that's not good enough for the protesters who have taken to the streets now for the 7th day in a row, calling for the release of this video. Now, these demonstrations remaining largely peaceful, with just a handful of folks being arrested last night for violating that 8 p.m. curfew. But the attorney for the family, one of the attorneys, Ben Crump, issuing a statement saying that he's disappointed by the judge ruling. I want to read part of it for you, saying, just look at the murder of George Floyd. If the world had not seen that clear and disturbing footage, there might not have been an outcome of accountability for those officers. We refuse to be discouraged. Now, the family, as you recall, commissioned that independent autopsy, which found that there was a single bullet to the back of Andrew Brown's skull that killed him. They called it an execution, but the attorney for the deputies is saying that his clients had a right to shoot.
The officers are very distraught over what happened. They feel for the family of Andrew Brown. But as Mr. Womble described to you, we believe that the shooting was justified.
Let me pull that back so you can hear it again. The U.S. system at its finest. Who polices the U.S. system? Who polices the police? They always feel everything they do is justified, but the United States allowed them to feel that way and gave them that white conceit and confidence, because what I see right now, white officers, let the record show. When black officers do it, they end up in prison. Real quick, fast. Indictments. We can run the stacks on that too. Indicted.
Yeah, Shep, the Brown family is calling this.
The officers are very distraught over what happened. They feel for the family of Andrew Brown. But as Mr. Womble described to you, we believe that the shooting was justified.
Now, Shep, that curfew is back in place tonight from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. tomorrow morning.
Shepard Smith, you don't get to shout yourself over here. Okay. So before we get to this 20-something seconds of the atrocity of video surveillance footage that was released by this police department, well, really by the state or whomever, because it really didn't come from the police, but whoever released it. Let me just get to the red flags and get them out the way. If you remember, red flags to look for, and this is with me not using any of the forensic tools to see if video footage has been altered, okay, modified, edited, tampered with. Red flags to look for. Just some red flags to look for in videos when you're looking at closed caption surveillance videos, or videos, period. Still frames. See a video with still frames, and you are in this field, that's like a red flag. That would repeating frames. That's like a red flag. Lightning changes. Just flickerings of light from frame to frames or within the same frames. That's like a red flag. And these are just some of the red flags that I put up here as a remembrance. And if you want to hear great detail on the forensics aspect of surveillance and things like that, I'm not attempting to be funny. You can just refer yourself back to 3 years ago or however many years ago, and you can watch my old videos there. I had great detail on these specific topics. So let's get to the video of Andrew.
The FBI is launching a civil rights investigation into the police killing of a black man in North Carolina a week ago. Newly released surveillance video shows sheriff's deputies arriving at Andrew Brown Jr.'s house before he was shot. A judge plans to hear arguments today to decide if body camera video from the killing should be made public. Manuel Bojorquez is in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, where protesters returned to the streets last night. Manuel, good morning.
Good morning. We were there as several of those protesters were arrested last night for violating the city's curfew. This was a newly implemented curfew. The city manager explained to us was necessary because outside groups have started to come in and they felt tensions were growing.
Again, but we're going to get to that too. We're going to get to these bogus laws that are being passed, as well as ordinances that are being passed to stop what they consider radical groups and from protesting. Excuse me, it's a constitutional right, right? And voting. Michigan, we on the list. 39 new voting laws they trying to pass here. Not that is advantageous for voters to disenfranchise the voters. But pause, a fairly new law.
But several of the protesters we spoke with thought it was unnecessary because for a full week now, their protests had been peaceful as they continue to demand the release of that body cam video.
New surveillance video shows a team of deputies riding in a sheriff's department truck on its way to arrest Andrew Brown Jr. on drug charges. This is just seconds before Brown is shot. Family attorney Ben Crump said the video showed, in his words, a militarized police force rushing to kill Brown. Just moments later, this video shows deputies surrounding Brown's car, riddled with bullets after it hit a tree. The crucial events between these two videos is on the not yet released body camera footage. The family says it will show an execution.
It was a kill shot to the back of the head.
Crump, the Brown family, and other attorneys released an independent autopsy which shows Brown suffered 5 gunshot wounds, 4 to the arm and 1 fatal shot to the back of the head. Brown's son Khalil Farabee saw just 20 seconds of the body camera footage Monday.
It's obvious he was trying to get away. It's obvious. And they gonna shoot him in the back of the head. Man, that's not right. That's not right at all, man.
The county sheriff says that under North Carolina law, a judge must sign off on the public release of body cam video. And even if a judge makes a decision on that today, there's no timeline on when the video might be released. In the meantime, North Carolina's governor wants a special prosecutor to take over the case. Anthony?
Yeah, in the interest of transparency, Manuel, I hope we get to see that video, as disturbing as it may be. Manuel, thank you.
And so, North Carolina,
The FBI
that
is
lets me
launching
know
a civil
y'all got some work to do. If you're a citizen in North Carolina, feet on the ground. You need to get engaged, and you need to engage in passing some legislation in your state. So when situations like this happen, you don't have to go through a judge. Again, who polices the United States of America? Like Dr. Omar said at the beginning of the video when I showed it. Do we really have time to be sitting up in La La Land? And he didn't call it La La Land. I'm gonna call it La La Land. Playing Reading Around the Posies all day? Or do we need to be actively engaged for the next generation? Or the elder people in this generation, or the next person who would be abused and suffer police brutality in this generation?
The FBI is launching a civil rights.
Let me go here. This is 2020. This is 2021, excuse me, 2021. So for 2021, when we look at the data, April, right? 2021, 292 people shot by the cops. That's Black.
Now, breaking news from CBS 17 News.
The FBI launching a federal civil rights investigation, and the governor is calling for a special prosecutor to look into the shooting of Andrew Brown.
He was killed in Elizabeth City last week by deputies serving a warrant, and tonight CBS 17 has obtained surveillance video from a nearby camera. CBS 17's Maggie Newland joining us now live with a look at that video and what it shows. Maggie.
Well, Rod, it's important to note this video does not show the shooting of Andrew.
What this show was edited. No, I did not conduct a forensic analysis on this video footage using forensic tools. But looking at the first video they show with the repeating frames, still frames, and the foolish excuses that they gave as to why the frame messed up, I said, yeah, we got some tampering going on. But then again, I still would have to prove it out. Science is provable and math is solvable.
Andrew Brown. That happens off camera, but it does show some of what happens before the shooting. I want to go ahead and play that video for you. Now, these are two angles of what's happening at the same time. You can see a truck here full of sheriff's deputies. They're wearing what appears to be SWAT gear, and they are going down the street here. Now, if you look, you can see that this is where the deputies are stopping. This is the area where they were serving the search warrant. You can see that they are jumping out of the truck right now. I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and if we can take video full right now, you can see what happens after it. All right, you should be able to hear some audio. They're saying put your hands up. Now, it sounds like you can also hear people yelling in the background, and then the video actually freezes there. We are told by the city who gave us, or gave our sister station this video, that a loud noise actually caused the camera to glitch.
Okay. For people, I'm gonna pause it right here and then I'm gonna let it play. The camera glitching right there. A loud noise caused the camera IP surveillance cameras to glitch. From a forensic perspective, that glitching going on in my mind, again, using no tools, just knowing what the red flags are, I would say tampering, you done made some edits, you done altered and modified some stuff. But again, I would have to conduct a thorough investigation using the tools to prove it out in a manner that's admissible in the court of law, right? And quite naturally, I would want the hard drives, the original hard drives. If it was blacked up in the cloud, that means I want the database server drives, the original ones. Yeah. That means if it's bi-directional communication, the camera is receiving and collecting data, I want the SD cards and the drives out of that too, right?
Shooting happens out of view of the camera. Of course, this video you're seeing right now, it does show a very limited perspective. It's not the video we need to make clear that the Brown family is asking for. They're currently demanding to see all the body camera videos as well as any dash camera video of this shooting. Yesterday, lawyers from the family say they were allowed to see only 20 seconds of video from one body camera. Today, lawyers presented the findings of a private autopsy ordered by the family. They say it shows Andrew Brown was shot 4 times in the arm and once in the back of the head.
It went into the base of the neck, in the bottom of the brain, the skull, and got lodged in his brain.
And the sheriff's office said in a statement that the private autopsy is only part of the puzzle. Under North Carolina law, body cameras can only be made public by a judge. Numerous media outlets, including our company Nexstar, have gone to court to ask for access to that video of the shooting. There is a hearing scheduled for tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Meanwhile, the governor has called for a special prosecutor to handle all matters regarding the shooting.
This one was the one I want to show from the day before, but the judge did rule that video will not be released to the general public. The family, one family member only got to see so much, and in that video footage that the family member got to see, it was not allowed to see the faces of the police officers because the judge wanted their faces blurred, and they gave all these excuses earlier in court about police officers have already been getting threats and we just need to blur their faces. And okay, yeah. Again, who polices the United States system? And while I'm right here, Amber Geyer, she's going to do her appeal, the one who shot Botham, who murdered and killed Botham Jean last year in his home while he was eating, his apartment while he was eating ice cream, and lied and said she thought it was her apartment. She's going to make her appeal. The Department of Justice stepped in the Ahmaud Arbery case and said they are going to charge all 3 of his murderers for hate crimes, not locally in Georgia. That's still going on. But the Department of Justice said they will be charged for hate crimes. Breonna Taylor case, the Department of Justice stepping into that one too, conducting an investigation, and rightly so. The Department of Justice stepping into Minnesota, conducting an investigation, and rightly so. On these police departments, and rightly so, long overdue. Now, I don't know the updates on Sean Reed. That was the one who was shot by the police officer while he was streaming live on Facebook. They shot him close proximity. That was African-American police officer who did, was one of those involved. Sean Reed was the one who had the pretty eyes, pretty color eyes like his mom's, and who's the RN who said they shot his eyes out. Okay, they shot him up several times too. All right, it's a lot of other cases that need to be updated, that we are still waiting on, and I am still, now that there's a new Department of Justice leading there, Chicago was already doing some things. Laquan McDowell, I have to go back to the teenager a few years back in Chicago who was shot over 17 times by the police. And that officer got less than 7 years in prison. It's a lot of cases. And right now I'm specifically talking about police genocide, police on US citizen genocide. Yeah, that was execution style. And Perry, they did file Freedom of Information's request, but North Carolina law is a little different. The judge basically said they have to wait. And that's why I said North Carolina needs to get busy. They're going to have to wait. The press is going to have to wait. And the public it's going to have to wait. Yeah, they're going to have to wait. North Carolina law is a little different. I don't reside there, but they do stuff a little different. A judge has to approve. They need a judge approval to release video cam footage from police. That's different. North Carolina, y'all need to get busy. Change the laws. You reside in that state. Engage. Write your legislation, take it to the governing board, get it approved, bring it to a ballot, vote on it, and get your laws changed. Get your petitions out there, collect your signatures, do what you need to do from registered voters only, because that's the way it works. You have to be a registered voter or voting aid and get it on a ballot, verify them signatures, get your stuff turned in, bring it to a ballot, and hold a vote. And get that mess changed. Wait for no judge to approve. The judge can never approve of video footage being released by police officers. They part of a system too. Now in the title I got white conceit, and I'm talking about this psychology from Caucasians, some Caucasians here in America, who always want to justify the murdering of any African American person by the hands of cops, the genocide of other ethnic groups. And want to demonize other ethnic groups except for when it comes to their own. Then they have their rose-colored glasses on. No, if it's wrong for one, it's wrong for all, basically. If you don't want it done to yours, don't do it to nobody else's. What video was that? I don't even care. Again, a lot of this things we should not be pontificating about. As a nation, we shouldn't still be pontificating about. We still talking about police brutality in the United States of America as it pertains to African American people. Why are we even still here? And it's cliche because it almost seems like, to a degree, the more things change, the more they stay the same. Because you're still stuck in this cycle of, in the United States of America, of police on U.S. citizen genocide, police on African American, police brutalities against African American people and against other Americans. But again, the United States allowed that thing to fester and grow because they thought it was cute. They thought it was fun to exploit an entire generation of people, Africans, who were brought over here on ships. They thought it was okay to beat them, rape them, sodomize them, work them like animals. Well, worse than animals, because they treat animals better than they do humans over here in the United States of America, depending on what animal it is, to a degree. But the U.S. allowed that to be perpetuated in the United States of America. So who's policing this entire system over here? And nobody wants to hear the sweet nothings coming from Congress. And this is why U.S. citizens need to actively stay engaged. That means you run for the seat. That means you vote the person out who should not be there because they're doing nothing advantageous for people at all. We're still waiting on bills and laws to be passed. It's been way past 400 years. African American people still waiting on reparations. We still waiting on what was promised to generations prior to us. Then the Senate ran in and passed they specifically got a law that was signed. Anti-Asian hate. Fine. But we don't have nothing that says anti-African American hate specifically. Don't play with me. Don't even play. And then we have African American people who's been psychologically put to sleep and anesthetized, justifying police murdering other African American people when it's unjustifiable. I don't need your dope. I don't need your alcohol, and no disrespect for the people who smoke their reefer, weed, and now they want to call it cannabis because the government wants to get paid off of it. I don't need your reefers. I don't need your alcohol or any other thing that would anesthetize me, attempt to temper me psychologically, and put my behind to sleep. If I'm going to deal, and again, no, if you do all of those things, that's you. Free will. If you're an adult, free will. Freedom of choice. But I don't need none of that foolishness that's going to anesthetize me and not have me sober-minded. I don't need that pushed off on me or in me. Because when it's time to engage and when it's time for war in the battle, I need to be prepared. How can I run with the horsemen and I can't even run with the foot soldiers because I'm anesthetized back to sleep or too anesthetized to pay attention? Again, I don't need all the gossip because that's a form of anesthetizing too. Again, really don't need a bunch of theatrics because that can be a form of anesthetizing too. Again, I want to admonish everyone, we have to actively stay engaged. Now, when George Floyd when the Chevron trial came down and they found him guilty on all charges, okay, what did I say? We still have to actively stay engaged. This doesn't mean, oh, no. Because we already got too much other stuff going on that we were waiting for. We already had too many other issues that we were waiting for people to be held accountable for. The police department, judges, and everybody else. So no, we cannot be anesthetized back to sleep or anesthetized, period. We have to actively stay engaged because if we don't do the work, who's going to do the work? The trees aren't going to do the work. The rocks aren't going to do the work. The streets aren't going to do the work. We the people do the work. And if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? And if not here, then where? So yes, pushback. And like Dr. Omar said earlier, I agree with him 100%. African-American artists, whatever form of art they're in, they can be doing more. We're not going to force them to do more, but they could do more. Because this is our community. And no, tweeting is not activism. Sitting up here streaming live, collecting YouTube checks is not activism. Oh, let me go. Yeah, I'm going there. Now, am I saying people should not be monetized? No, I'm not saying that because YouTube is making money off everybody right now, running their commercials and pushing their ads. I have that specifically blocked out over here. I don't want to see it. If a commercial is going to be ran over here, I will run the commercials that I choose to run. It won't be YouTube putting no ads on my channel over here, running no commercials, monetizing, and getting paid off none of the content that I create. Period. Am I telling them not to collect the money? No. But what I am saying is don't get so caught up and bought up to the point where you let YouTube take your voice because you're too afraid to speak the truth because you're concerned about a doggone YouTube check, or you want to get up here and start entertaining all day, every day, because you're still trying to get that YouTube check. Instead of standing up for what's right, what's just, what's fair, and accountability, and being engaged. Because the world is watching. Not only the world watching, you got youth coming behind you watching. So we do need to stay engaged. And yes, it is okay to tweet. I say it all the time. When I'm here, this is just raising an awareness campaign. You still have to do the work locally, regionally, and nationally. Yeah, they were. So we have a lot to deal with. Again, term limits for Congress, term limits for judges, Supreme Court justices. We still have to deal with stripping police immunity out of this system. We still have to deal with reparations. What was promised to African Americans a long time ago that the US lied about and always want to make an excuse about. We still have to leave a legacy of greatness for the next generation. Yeah. And no, I'm not telling anybody not to be balanced. You have to have a just balance because you are spirit, soul, and body. So all of those portions need to be fed, spirit, soul, and body. All of those need to be well balanced out. I'm not telling people not to listen to music. I'm not telling people not to go see movies or whatever. But I am telling people not to get anesthetized back to sleep and to stay actively engaged. And I am telling people the system over here was tore up from the floor up when it started, and it's still the same way today. Period. And until you can make it right for every ethnic group, it will continue to be tore up from the floor up. Simple. And a little leaven will always leaven the whole lump. Period. What you allow to be done to one ethnic group in abundance will be done to the rest of them in abundance. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. Well, P-Legal, they've been trying to kill us off since we got, matter of fact, they killed a bunch off. But nobody gets away. I don't care what it looks like. Nobody gets away. Again, white conceit. When I think of the United States of America, what I think of is psychologically, sociologically, physiologically, philosophically, economically. It's about white conceit. That's haughtiness. That's arrogance. You some type of arrogant if you think you could just continue to shoot and murder people. The system over here is some type of arrogant to think that people just going to continue to allow themselves to be taken advantage of. That's some type of arrogance, United States of America. That's some type of haughtiness. That's some type of conceit. And these judges who want to sit on cases over here in the United States of America, that's some type of arrogance. That's some type of haughtiness. That's some type of conceit. And these back underhanded attorneys over here, some of these wayward, backward attorneys over here who want to take a side door deal on every wind and wave. That's some type of conceit. That's some type of arrogance. That's some type of haughtiness. And you will reap what you sowed in abundance, to the full, till it overflows in your life. That's some type of arrogance here in the United States of America. The audacity of America to be so arrogant as a system over here, systematically over here. The system. Then you get arrogant individuals running around from every ethnic group, justifying foolishness, which should be obvious. No value for human life. Don't even value kids' lives. Want to sit up and run with those old stank Republican talking points all day about abortions, which dwindled down years ago, but don't want to talk about police murdering kids, teens, and everybody else. But yet want to arrogantly say you value human life. Bunch of hypocritical poppycock. Again, want to sit up and call other ethnic groups, especially that foolishness y'all pulled during the pandemic, coming from some Republicans and some wannabe Democrats, which deals with democracy, should deal with democracy, us not being a theocracy over here, living under a dictatorship, to sit up and want to call some people over some stank unemployment benefits during a pandemic that the people did not cause lazy. If we give them unemployment, they ain't gonna want to go to work. The arrogance of the United States of America. The conceit, the headiness, the haughtiness, the high-mindedness. After you set up over here and exploited my ancestors and still exploiting US citizens to this day. Paying into a system and then gonna tell them, because US citizens pay Congress tax, pay their salary too, off your taxes, want to sit up and tell them, you're lazy, you're this, you're that. We'll dictate and decide. You don't need that money. You don't need any more unemployment insurance. You just this, you just that. Oh, if they're not going to want to go back to work, if they get this $300 extra of unemployment insurance money, are you kidding me? But I didn't hear a single congressperson saying they'd get a paycheck back. That they will forfeit their paycheck. The arrogance of the system over here. So let me break it down again. Oh, I'm feeling a little something different right now in the atmosphere. Let me break it down again. Tobacco, cotton, sugar cane, beans, greens, and everything else in between. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, my mother, my father were in those fields. Don't play with me. My great-grandparents never got paid for their labor. My great-great-grandparents never got paid for their labor. My grandparents were in the field all day for 25 cents. Do not play with me. Arrogant America. Don't play. And for Congress people to have the audacity to open up their mouth and utter such foolishness as to allude of someone being lazy. And me, when I hear certain African Americans talking about, oh, no, when the system was set against you from day one, what are you saying? Well, I went to school and I got an education and I did okay for my family and I did this and I did that and maybe they're just late. No, the system was set against you. And just because you got through, systematically, who else is getting through? Is everybody getting through? Is the entire ethnic group getting through? Overall. The arrogance of America and of Americans. Then sit to my face and tell me they don't have to pay reparations. You got it bent and twisted. And to sit to my face and try to justify the murder of KhiaBryant, you got it bent and twisted. To sit to my face and try to justify the murder of the teenager who was in the bathroom at school, you got it bent and twisted. From Mike Brown to Freddie Gray, who was grown, to the rest of the teenagers, you got this stuff bent and twisted. To Karina Gaines, even though her family got to pay, you got this bent and twisted. To Botham Jean, you got this bent and twisted. To Trayvon Martin, who was not murdered by a cop, but the cops backed his murder, you got this stuff bent and twisted. To Tamir Rice, who was murdered by a cop, you got this bent and twisted. And to these wannabe slick talking people who think they so smart with they slick lips on the news, in the media, out of the news, wherever you be. Your arrogant selves. You got some stuff bent and twisted. Yeah, the system is messed up. It's been jacked up. The fleecing of America and the exploitation of a people. again. And people wondering why she got white conceit in the title. Because when the Yankee Doodle Dandy Days brought their butts to America to steal the land from the natives who were already here, they were Caucasians. Whether you label them Caucasians, white, or whatever. European Americans, where they were from Europe. So I can't even call them no Americans. Some red coats. Oh, I'm in my always have something to say mode right now. I'm in my you always have something to say mode right now. And again, as a people, we cannot afford to be anesthetized back to sleep. We have to actively stay engaged. We have to stay vigilant. We have to stay sober-minded. We can't afford to back up. We can regroup. We can refresh. We can renew, but we can't ever retreat. We can re-strategize. We can reorganize, but we cannot ever retreat. And again, when I'm on here, let me remind you, informative, raising awareness campaigns, showing you how to be engaged in social justice actions. Updating you on current events. And the updates is so you can call your congressperson, write them day and night, follow up with them. Not just that, so you can be at home drafting up some legislation. And if you need to do a recall, I've said it before, call me, text me, well, text me, email me. Can't text me because you don't have my number, but email me. You need help with petitions? Email me. This is so we can actively stay engaged locally, regionally, and nationally. When I'm on here, I know I'm raising an awareness campaign, informing, speaking, letting voice be heard, lest we fall asleep. We need to awake from our slumber. All hands on deck, good hands on deck. All good hands on deck. All productive hands on deck. All productively good hands on deck. That's ready to fortify, forge ahead, and foster something good for the next generation and continue the fight. Yeah, P legal, you know, in the United States. Y'all keep skirting and dancing around reparations because you know you would not have a single dime. run that cotton profits up, run the cotton profits up, tobacco profits, rest of the profits from my ancestors' labor, my parents' labors, my great-grandparents' labors, my great-great-grandparents' labor, run that up, run those profits up with interest, you wouldn't have a dime. Also, wrongful deaths, all the murders that you done, you wouldn't have a dang on dime over here. Don't play. And yeah, the House of Representatives did pass the bill, the HR bill, to study reparations, but I don't know what we need to research it out for again and study it again for. Again, but that deals with the white conceit, the arrogance of America, America's psychology, American philosophy, America's ideology, America on mess. Now, having said that, let me go back to something that Dr. Omar said, and people always attempt to want to discredit African American people or try to feather pluck their lives, their education, and their past to make them own selves look good in attempts to discredit someone. But oh, what a tangle web you weave if people start exposing the mess of the people who like to dig into the past of others. Oh, what a tangle web would get weaved if we really started going through others' past and everything they've done. And people jumping on bandwagons and using cliches, cancel culture, cancel culture. No, I'm for course correcting culture. That's what I'm for. Course correcting the error of your ways. That's the culture I'm for. Course correction. The 360 turnaround. Now, before we conclude and go back to music, while I'm talking about America conceded, the conceited, let me go back to Dr. Omar Johnson, who has clinical psychology degrees from the United States of America. Let the record show. The one people love to attempt to discredit for whatever. Let me run it. He's speaking power to the truth right here all day long.
About black people kill black people. We don't say nothing about
That's
that.
a lie.
First of all, police on black violence is not the same as black on black violence. Yes, they both end in a loss of life. Yes, they are equally serious, but they are different. And the reason they are different is because when the police officer kills a black person, it is because they do not value that black person's life. The police officer kills the black person with the full authority of the entire United States government. It is a racial assassination. When the police kill a black person, it is a racial assassination. They do so with the full authority. They do so with the full authority of the United States government. They do it with the full authority of the U.S. Congress. They do it with the full authority of the U.S. President. They do it with the full authority of the Attorney General. They do it with the full authority of the Supreme Court. It is a state-sanctioned assassination. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that's being carried out as part of a larger campaign of genocide. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that is being carried out as part of a larger campaign of genocide. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that's being carried out as a larger part of genocide to a random act of senseless violence. Black people are unorganized and disorganized. We are unorganized and disorganized. When we kill, it is a random act of emotional violence which results from variables that were all introduced by the white power structure. When black people kill black people, it is a random act of senseless violence that is the result of factors that were all introduced by the American power structure. Factors such as slavery, unemployment, factors such as homelessness, factors such as the psychological stress of being black in the most racist country in America. The psychological stress of coming out of jail and you can't get a place to live or a plate of food to eat, or you can't get a job because that felony is like a noose around your neck for the rest of your life. It is the stress of being disrespected by other black people who don't believe they have to respect other black people. It is the stress of the white power structure that does not allow us to live the same quality of life that white people live. Don't you ever compare black on black crime to state-sanctioned genocide. They are not the same. They are not the same. One is an act of state. One is part of a system of extermination, and the other is a random act of violence resulting out of self-hatred, stress, and other factors, all stemming from the American white power structure. Do we need to do something about it? Of course we can. Of course we can. But don't you ever mistake black on black crime as being anything other than an extension of white on black crime. Don't you ever mistake black on black crime as being anything other than an extension of white on black crime. And
let me pull that back for the people who missed it because I was talking through there. Let me roll that back silently. I started off showing videos at the beginning of this live, Dr. Omar Johnson, for a very specific reason. I was glad that the Breakfast Club had him on there because I had some stuff to say to DJ Envy. Did I go run it through somebody else to say it? No, I jumped right down up in his messages and said exactly what I had to say to him with his lips, with his public platform, sitting up there justifying the murder of KhiaBryant. Oh, yes, I did. Come to this event because of da-da-da-da-da. So ain't nobody, I'm not getting ready to support you. You support the murdering of minors by the hands of cops. You don't get my dollars. I ain't supporting none of that mess. And the only reason I showed a section of the Breakfast Club clip is because Dr. Omar Johnson was on there. I'm not supporting your pockets if you supporting police brutality against minors without a justifiable reason. And even if you thought you had a justifiable reason, I already showed earlier, Nick stabbing a cop and still didn't get shot down. He got tased. The cop running all around after him. What? What? Am I angry? No, this is righteous indignation. Because I was a formal educator. Again, I don't believe in you killing minors and children. Period. Devaluing human life. Period. It's a way around everything. You can call medical and hit them with some tranquilizers to knock them out. I've seen it done before. You don't have to hit them with bullets. Don't play with me. Let me pull it back. So yes, we're going to listen to a clinical psychologist from the United States of America, a Black one at that, male.
Authority of the U.S. Congress. They do it with the full authority of the U.S. both in the loss of life. Yes, they are equally involved. Police on black violence is not the same as black on black violence. Yes, they both end in a loss of life. Yes, they are equally serious, but they are different. And the reason they are different is because when the police officer kills a black person, it is because they do not value that black person's life. The police officer kills the black person with the full authority of the entire United States government. It is a racial assassination. When the police kill a black person, it is a racial assassination. They do so with the full authority. They do so with the full authority of the United States government. They do it with the full authority of the U.S. Congress. They do it with the full authority of the U.S. President. They do it with the full authority of the Attorney General. They do it with the full authority of the Supreme Court. It is a state-sanctioned assassination. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that's being carried out as part of a larger campaign of genocide. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that is being carried out as part of a larger campaign of genocide. You cannot compare a state-sanctioned assassination that's being carried out as a larger part of genocide to a random act of senseless violence. Black people are unorganized and disorganized. We are unorganized and disorganized. When we kill, it is a random act of emotional violence which results from variables that were all introduced by the white power structure. When black people kill black people, it is a random act of senseless violence that is the result of factors that were all introduced by the American power structure. Factors such as unemployment, factors such as homelessness, factors such as the psychological stress of being black in the most racist country in America. The psychological stress of coming out of jail and you can't get a place to live or a plate of food to eat, or you can't get a job because that felony is like a noose around your neck for the rest of your life. It is the stress of being disrespected by other black people who don't believe they have to respect other black people. It is the stress of the white power structure that does not allow us to live the same quality of life that white people live. Don't you ever compare black on black crime to state-sanctioned genocide. They are not the same. They are not the same. One is an act of state. One is part of a system of extermination, and the other is a random act of violence resulting out of self-hatred, stress, and other factors, all stemming from the American white power structure. Do we need to do something about it? Of course we can. Of course we can. But don't you ever mistake black on black crime as being anything other than an extension of white on black crime. Don't you ever mistake black on black crime as being anything other than an extension of white on black crime. You damn coons. Always trying to defend your slave master. Always trying to defend your slave master. Y'all not mad because that girl got killed? Y'all not mad because that brother got killed? Because black kids are killing each other every day and we not doing nothing about it. We are comfortable with the genocide. We are comfortable with the oppression. We are comfortable with the miseducation.
And that's a problem.
It's a damn shame that the average black person, the only thing they wake up to do is get on their damn social networks and chat with people all day long. We are being murdered. We are being exterminated right before your eyes. And most of us wake up and spend all damn day on social network. Grown ass people, 30, 40, 50, 60, your whole life is social network. The only reason why you got a job is to pay your damn cell phone bill. The only reason why you got a job is to pay your damn cell phone bill so you can get on TikTok. So you can get on Twitter and Instagram and MySpace. It doesn't make no damn sense. Whenever I come on social network, it's to give you a message. And I'm the most popular and most powerful personality in the black conscious movement. I'm the most popular and the most powerful personality in the black conscious movement. And I'm not on social network every day. I don't even have a YouTube page. I don't have a TikTok. I don't have none of that shit. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
For the YouTube black conscious ones who are on here getting paid, I think that was for you all, because I'm not monetized on this channel. Like I said, if I start another channel, I'm gonna monetize that and get all the monies. But for here right now on this, when it comes to activism, social justice, I'm not monetizing this. I could have monetized a long time ago. I refuse to. You don't get to buy my voice on this right here. Now, if I flow in my trade, you're going to have to pay me for that. Is speaking a gift? Yes, it is. Could I get paid? Yes, I could. Am I on here to get paid? No, I'm not. Why? Because people have been exploited enough in the name of justice. Am I telling everybody else not to monetize? No, I'm not. Because like I said, if YouTube get to the point where they tell me they're not blocking their ads out any longer, then by all means, you're not going to get paid off my content running your ads through here. I don't think so. Then I will take your money. But right now, as long as I can block all them ads and all the rest of that foolishness, but even before I go there, I'm going to contend with YouTube. Excuse me, Google as a distribution service. Because I do know from a technological perspective why you pushing half of this mess you pushing out here, YouTube. Google as a distributor. And by all means, if he had a YouTube channel, because they always showing his videos from everywhere else, he would be pulling down 1 million annually plus. He'd be hitting the numbers and the views. Because all of his stuff on here was hitting the numbers and the views anyway. He used to hit the numbers and the views when he was on other news outlets and channels. And the regular traditional media. But TikTok, go ahead and clap for giving all your information away to another nation. Go ahead and clap it up for that. That's 100% censored and surveillance. Go ahead and clap it up for that, because TikTok is China on. I wouldn't do that, because that's a data issue. Really, being on any social network is a data issue, but the United States started pushing back some and a little bit of their laws. We still don't have any data privacy laws, any privacy laws over here. But go ahead and clap it up for that. Some social media sites I'm just not gonna be on because they too nosy and I know what they doing with your information. But go ahead and clap it up for that. You can get your information away for free because you didn't read the fine print. Go ahead, clap it up for that. So no need to wonder why another foreign country got your information, in addition to hacking the U.S. government systems and taking it from them because they couldn't secure the systems. Go ahead and clap it up for that.
And I only come on to deliver information and updates, relevant information and updates. I don't use my platforms to talk about other people. I don't use my platforms to tear down other people. I don't use my platforms to talk about what's going on in the NFL and in the NBA. I might drop a meme once in a while, but if you go through my page, It's all information, relevant information, not gossip and slander and sensationalism.
Pause right there. Somebody, when he was live streaming this, somebody brought up, that person name that I don't say over here. But with that being said, I wanted to end on that. As well as Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Torre. We can go all the way back to, Mahalia Jackson. We can go back to Sojourner Truth. We can go back to so many of the African American social justice sergeants, activists, and trailblazers who paved the way and laid a path for us to partake in the freedoms and the liberties that we do partake in to a degree over here in the United States. We can go back to all of them who were still fighting the same fight that we have to contend with today. Justice, equality, police brutality, economics, psychology, philosophy, education, redlining, the system. No. And I played that portion because right there, nitty gritty, not sugarcoated, not anesthetizing you, just get straight to the nitty gritty. The system is tore up from the floor up over here, always has been, it still is. Therefore, we must actively stay engaged. Yeah, I said I would be long tonight because I had something to say. Always having something to say night. I said I was in always having something to say mode. Now, having said that, thank you so much for streaming. Remember, we are in a pandemic. We're still in a pandemic. With that being said, remember to wear your mask, wash your hands. Let's remember, if we can look up, we can get up, we can get up, we can go up. We need to actively stay engaged. I'm not telling anyone not to have their channels. By all means, I have one. I'm not telling anyone not to get monetized. By all means, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you need to watch it. If it comes to the point where your voice is being bought and you just doing it for the views because you want that YouTube money, then you need to check the content of your heart. And you need to check your purpose and your intentions. And your motives behind what you're doing. If you say you are for justice. Yeah. Yeah. Again, everyone has a free will. So I say use your platform to continuously engage, inform people, raise awareness, be a voice for the voiceless, but you also got to put your feet to that ground. That means you got to get out there, feet on the ground, and do some work. And if you are disabled and can't walk or whatever, you can call. You can call your congressperson. You can write your congressperson. You can do voice to speech recognition, and it will, where you dictating and it just type it up for you, even though Google needs to learn Black dialect so they can interpret what African-American people be saying appropriately, as well as other ethnic groups. But we have to actively stay engaged. We have to stay vigilant. We cannot be anesthetized back to sleep. And again, if we don't do it, who gonna do it? And if not now, when? And if not here, where? And if not you, who? Now, having said that, like I said, I wanted to show that again on the end because he just got down to the nitty gritty. No nonsense style. And he spoke boldly against the system and the others justifying the murdering of these minors, which makes absolutely no sense. Now, again, having said that, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. Thanks so much for streaming. Remember, again, we're still in a pandemic, so do what you need to do to take care of you and your family. And please don't play Russian roulette with your lungs or your life. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, everybody. And if you were saying something in the chat and I didn't reply to it, it's because I can't see it. I don't know. You could be typing something and YouTube probably not showing it. But again, having said that, you all have a pleasant evening and a pleasant night. Remember, everybody, remember, we look up, we get up, we go up, we don't retreat. We refresh, we renew, we regroup, we re-strategize, we reorganize, we re-strategize, we reorganize. We never retreat. We don't go back. We move forward at all times. All right. Have a pleasant night or evening, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks so much.